Hello, everyone. If you're hearing the Big Ben chimes here, that means it's noon. It's noon Eastern Time. And I said I was going to stream at noon, partly because I thought it would be fun to actually do some things that I would do here anyhow. And some of that, of course, is trying out new Linux distributions. But I thought that I could do it. You could, just watch me try things out, but also fall flat on my face or my behind or whatever it is. Because, of course, I'm doing this without a net. I'm not doing this with any preparation. If I'm doing a video normally, my Cooking with Linux videos, typically, I'll, experiment, I'll record, and, I'll trim out all the stuff that doesn't work. So if you happen to be watching right now, and please know that this is either if you're watching it live, then that's great. Thank you very much. If you're not watching it live, then you know that any mess up that I make, I actually made because, I didn't go back in to edit this after the fact. So this is the real thing. This is actually happening as it's happening, and you can see what I do and frankly, how I mess things up every once in a while. This is a good way to look at it. So I'm going to turn off the little webcam that's sitting in the bottom there, and the only other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to transition there and get rid of my little webcam, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to listen to see whether or not I can actually hear myself. Frankly, how I mess things up every once in a while. Yep, it seems to be working. Yay! See, I've got another PC over here. I can go and take a look at it, and I can find out whether or not it's actually doing what I expect it to be doing. But again, if you're watching live, fantastic. If you're not, you can catch this after the fact, and you can still see how this all works, okay? So I'm going to minimize this, and today we are going to be installing, or I'm going to be trying out this. This is a Linux distribution. I was going to say it's a new Linux distribution, but mostly it's new to me because I haven't actually tried this one yet. It's a Debian-based distribution. The idea behind it, apparently, was that there was going to be at some point, there was some talk about creating a sort of a marriage, if you will, of Debian and LinuxMint, okay? And of course, Debian.org. Okay, we can go to Debian.org. And then, of course, there's LinuxMint. LinuxMint.com, okay? So somebody apparently was going to be working out on a version of Linux Mint, specifically the Debian, the KDE-based version, and they were going to get rid of the Ubuntu, like the Ubuntu repository underneath, and go with the straight Debian repository. And the developer of Solyd DK, or Solyd XK, I should say, thought this was a great idea, but that never actually happened. The Linux Mint Debian blend didn't happen. So Solyd XK was created based on that idea. So that's kind of the point behind this one here. Now, there are two versions. One of them is with the KDE desktop, which was, I guess, the original inspiration for this thing. And the other one is this one over here, the XFCE based desktop. And that's the one I actually want to try. So that's the one that I'm going to try today, okay? Now, if you have seen me try distributions in the past, then you know that I typically, here, let's close this so it's not so much of a distraction. There you go. Goodbye, little widget. I love that thing. That's the timekeeper widget. If you've probably seen that on my desktop once or twice. I love that. But typically I use AQEMU. I also use Virt Manager, but I've dissed boxes. Okay, I mean, I've kind of dissed boxes. I've said I'm not as fond of boxes. So today I'm actually going to try this with boxes, despite what I've said about it in the past, and let's find out if it works. Okay, because we're just going to do this. Select a file. Okay, so let's go home and let's go to ISOs. And in here I have Zorin OS, which I'm not going to do. Today we're doing Solyd X, SOLYDX. And remember, this is the XFCE version of it. I've done the Slackware installation a couple of days ago, but we are doing the Solid version right now. All right. So I click, so what do? I double click, there we go. Boxes will create a new box with the following properties. Memory 2 gigabytes, I'm okay with that. Disk 21.5 gig maximum. That's fine. That all seems cool. All right, let's go with that. And of course, like I said, if you've seen me do this once or twice before, then you know that I'm usually using a different virtual machine manager. So this one is new for me too. All right, memory, 2 gig. I'm okay with 2 gig of memory. That'll work nice. As you can see over here, let me move this over here a little bit. In fact, let me minimize this a little bit. As you can see on my system, I actually have 12 gig of RAM. Obviously, some of it is in use at the moment. There's no swap being used, none whatsoever. But I have 12 gig of RAM, so I can certainly spare the space for this one here. So, okay, so 21.5 boxes. Now what? Now what? So I've customized the resources. Okay, I'm good. All right. Create. I guess I click the create button. See, I don't do this one often. This is not my typical virtualization software. So I'm trying something different today. Automatic boot in 1 second. Ooh, the excitement, the tension. I'm gonna have a drink while I wait. You're probably expecting me to be drinking wine or something, but and I don't want you to think less of me for this, but I'm drinking V8 right now. And again, if you're in the chat, please say hi. Let me know that you're there. Hopefully I can, I'll peek every once in a while to make sure that, do we want to try to maximize this? Shall we? Yeah, let's try it. Whoa. Okay. All right. Let's see. 16 by 900. Okay. All right. Is anything happening? Boxes. Boxes. Do I need to shrink this? Do I need to make it smaller? Because at the moment, I don't see you. I don't see anything happening. Is anything happening? We've gone full screen. We've gone full screen. We're waiting. VBox client service is not running. No, it's not, because I'm not using VirtualBox. I'm using KVM. The acceleration on this thing, I'm using KVM. Maybe this is an issue with boxes. Is this one of those things? Install. Okay, so we have actually booted this thing. We've actually booted, so we're running off the so-called live disk at the moment. So let's actually go through the installation, shall we? All right, shall we? Shall we do this? Let's do this. Actually, we could do a little tour. We could just click X here and go through the sorts of things that are installed. But I actually want to go through the installation on here. So let's double click this guy. Let's go through the installation. Install. Sure, this will erase all data on the hard disk. I'm cool with that because this is a virtual machine anyway. So go ahead, do it. English, Canada, why not? Typically, believe it or not, and this is going to sound weird, but typically I go with English US. And I typically do that because so many things, just sort of work that way. America, Toronto, yes, I'm basically near Toronto. That's fine. French Canada, no, I don't want to do that. I want English. I want English. English Australian, English UK, English, there we go, English US. Let's just go with the English US keyboard. Forward, my full name. Let's put in my full name, Marcel and Gagne. And my username, we're just going to go with Marcel. And my password, this is my secret password, SECRET, tab, SECRET, my secret password. The host name, sure, let's call it that for now. Or actually, or should we come up with a different name for it? Let's call it, Napoleon. Yeah, Napoleon. That's what this machine is going to be called. It's going to be called Napoleon. Why? No reason. All right, so this is the default that it gives us. We have a slash partition. We have a 1 point. This is actually a strange layout that it decided on. I wonder what the reasoning behind that is. There's a very small slash home partition. Typically, this is not the way I would do this. And in fact, I'm going to modify this. I'm going to change it around because typically I would make the slash partition the one that's slightly smaller, and then I would do the slash home partition for everything else. But you know what? Let's are you sure you want to continue? Yeah, actually I don't like this layout. I don't like this layout at all. So I'm going to assign to slash, yes. Yes. Let me see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go edit partitions. Let me see. I'm going to say edit partitions. I'm actually going to get rid of this partition. So gparted is what we're using here. So I'm going to say delete the selected partition. It's interesting that they're using gparted here. Come on, delete the partition. Delete the partition. How come you're not deleting the partition? Unmount. Shouldn't be mounted already. Unmount. All right. Now delete the partition. Delete the partition. All right, so now let's allocate this. Create a new partition, and we're just going to use up the rest of the space because I don't really like the layout of this one. I'm going to say use the rest of the space that's available, and I'm going to make it ext4 primary partition. I'm going to say add, and my mount point, can I make format to ext4? Let's format to ext4, and I don't use gparted on a regular basis. See, this is the thing about watching me do this right now. I'm going to mess up. Gparted. Gparted. Have I done it? Am I done this? Created primary partition. Partition, device, edit. Apply all operations. Okay. All right. Apply all operations. Ta-dum, ta-dum, ta-dum. Close. And now I have my refresh. All right, I have my little swap partition and I have my ext4 partition. You would choose to install grub on a partition. Yes, this is what we're going to do. The inserted volume, and I want to assign to /. There we go. And grub is going to be assigned. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, we're going to do that. Or do we want it on the master boot record here? You choose not to install grub, but without a bootloader. No, I don't want to continue. I want to install grub. You chose to install grub on a partition. Yes, I do want to do that. That is just fine. And /, and yes, we don't want to format as. All right, let's go forward. Let's apply. Let's do this. Welcome to Solyd K. All right, and we are rolling. This is actually happening. We've got the installation happening. So this is the first time that I've actually done an installation using GNOME boxes. As in that I've actually done it live. I've played with it in the past. I haven't been thrilled with it. So it's interesting to see how this is actually working. So let's go through the steps here as this is happening. All right. So we are going to do this now and wait while it's happening. While it's happening, let me minimize this for a second here. I'm going to go back to the not maximized version of the screen. So as you can see, this is actually a virtual machine running in the background. Copying. It'll be interesting to see how long this actually takes to happen, but we'll let it happen in the background. We're it says we're about 13 minutes in at the moment. Although the time here is kind of bizarre. I told it that it was the Toronto time zone, and yet it's showing me UTC down there. That's very interesting. So let's see what other kind of options we've got here. Add to favorites, take screenshots, force step down, properties. Let's take a look at properties, QEMU special, display protocol spice. Okay, that's cool. This is actually kind of interesting. This is better than I remember it. I have to admit, it has been quite a while since I've actually done this thing. It shows me my various USB devices. Hey, I might actually learn to like this. Snapshots, no snapshots created yet because we're still installing on this thing. So let this continue. And I'm just going to click the X in the corner here, and we are back to our virtual machine as it is installing. So it's installing. Let's just jump back into the system here while it's doing its thing. Okay, so the installation is happening in the background, but we can still take a look and see what the system has under the live user. Under favorites at the moment, we've got Firefox. Obviously, that's the browser that's installed by default, as is Thunderbird, LibreOffice. We can add or remove our packages here. We're not going to do that while we're doing the install. Settings Manager. Let's take a look and see what kind of settings we can change on this thing. Appearance on the desktop. We are using BreezeX Graybird, the XFCE default color scheme. 4.2 XFCE 4.6. I kind of like the BreezeX. Let's go back to the BreezeX for the moment, okay? So I'll close that for a second. Oops, I went and closed my settings completely. I did not want to do that. Favorites. There we go. Favorites. Settings Manager. What other options we got? Desktop. What are my desktop options? Desktop background and menu bar behavior. Wallpaper for my desktop. Well, we're just going to leave we're going to leave the Solyd K or the Solyd X actually at the moment. Menus. Icons, file launcher icon. I'm okay with everything that's there. So what other things do we have installed by default to this thing? Okay, settings, appearances, display, blah, blah, blah. You saw the settings manager. Accessories, Clipman, GTK hash, a password manager. It does have a password manager built in. Again, I'm discovering this as you're discovering this because I haven't actually installed this before now. And again, if you are out there, leave me a comment. Let me know that you're actually doing that. Run a program from here. Sensor view. Show me the sensors. HD temp was not executed properly. I'm okay with that. Sensor viewer. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything terribly interesting there. Probably because it's a virtual machine that we're running. Anyway, where are we? Accessories. Scan for threats. Clam. Clam is an antivirus package. Doesn't really matter a whole heck of a lot for a Linux box, but if you're running, if you're sharing programs, for instance, or software to a Windows machine, that might be a good idea. Lucky Backup, backup and sync. I've used that one. It's an rsync backup. It's very nice, actually, for backing up your software. And you can set it to run at specific times. It's sort of like if you come from the Mac world or something like that, Time Machine. I think that's what it's called over in the Mac world. But this is actually a nice backup system. I've used it in the past. I've written articles about it. It's one that I would certainly recommend if you are using it. XF Burn for burning CDs. Let's take a look at our easy to use task manager while the installation. Hey, it looks like we're actually going to manage the installation. Okay, let's see what else this version comes with. All right, for graphics, we have basically LibreOffice Draw, Rosetto Image Viewer. We do not have an editor. So the GIMP is not installed by default. I'm almost surprised about that because it's extremely common to see the GIMP installed, which is kind of, if you're not coming from the Linux world and you come from the Windows world, then you know that when I say that one, I'm actually talking about I can't even think of the name of the Adobe Photoshop. For goodness sakes, I can't believe I forgot Adobe Photoshop. All right, let's take a look what we got under Internet. Internet for Firefox, obviously. VNC server, so that you can share the desktop with VNC. All right, so what do we got? VLC Media Player, XF Burn, that's our CD burning application. I do not see any kind of an audio playing tool here. That's kind of interesting. Office, obviously we're dealing with LibreOffice because we've got all the LibreOffice packages there. Calc, Draw, Base, Impress, Math, Writer. So we've got all the word processing stuff, and under admin stuff, obviously we're package installer, Samba, so that we can share. Remember I said that we've got a Clam for antivirus packages. Well, we've got Samba, so we can share files to Windows systems if we want. Add or remove packages. All right, let's open our root terminal for fun here. Open our root terminal because we're operating as root at the moment. There we go. Open our root terminal. Nice, nice. Got H top? No. Let's just open top. Oops. Top. There we go. And we can watch what's happening either on the graphical task manager. How's our installer doing? Shall I go full screen again? Let's go full screen again because we were doing that. We are we are full screen. We are full screen at the moment. Okay. All right. We are almost here. We're almost there. Copying var spool. We're almost there. It's almost at the end of the installation. This is actually not bad. I guess one of the reasons it doesn't take that long to actually go through the installation on this one is precisely because it is leaving some of that additional software behind. Remember I said that I was surprised that it didn't have the GIMP and a few other things in there? That's probably a good reason. And of course this is the XFCE version, so it's not the KDE based version, which would be, much as I hate to admit it, because as you know, I'm a huge KDE fan. KDE Plasma, that is actually what I run on my desktop here, right? Despite all that, let's go back up here into the big screen. Despite all that, XFCE is definitely going to be a smaller, less intense version of the system. Update the new system. I think we're almost here. This is where I'm going to pause and have another sip of my V8. By the way, this is not an endorsement of V8. I'm not getting paid by V8. I just happen to like it. I suppose it might be more interesting if I put vodka in it or something, but You know, it's pretty good on its own. And you get like 3 of your servings of veggies that you need for a day, supposedly need for a day in there. We're almost there. Update the new system. Update the new system. What else is happening while we update the new system? Let's just minimize that again for a second while we wait for it to happen. And just to remind you that that, you know, as I said, this is the one that I'm running today, but I typically do this with AQEMU. This is usually the one that I'm using when I'm installing virtual machines. Not necessarily because it's the best and greatest in the entire world, but frankly, the one that I'm kind of, you know, used to working with. I like it. What can I say? I like it. And again, if you're the developer of AQEMU, come on, get back in there. Get somebody else to take care of it. It's nice. I like it. Although, you know, I'm more impressed with GNOME boxes than I was the first time that I played with GNOME boxes. So, you know, there might be something in there. And of course, the other one that you can use is Virt Manager. Virtual Machine Manager is the other one that is useful for doing this sort of thing. And this is a great way, by the way, to test out Linux distributions because you don't actually have to wipe out your system to do it. And you can do it without shutting down your system. If you've ever done this with a live DVD or a live CD, then you know. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom. I see you saying hello in the chat there. So hello, Tom. Nice to have you aboard. Anyway, sorry, what I was saying was if you are downloading an ISO, like a DVD image or a CD image or something like that, you can boot your PC off of it and run it off the DVD without having to install it. But if you've got a machine that's reasonably capable, then you can do what I'm doing here, and you can run it, you know, virtualized. Now, I am using GNOME boxes to do that here. And of course, there's the Virtual Machine Manager, which we could use as well. But the other possibility, if you are running, say, Windows, for instance, and you want to try installing one of these Linux distributions, is VirtualBox, virtualbox.org or .com. Both of them will actually work. But if you go to VirtualBox, you can actually download a client for Windows, a client that's going to work for the Windows world as well, okay? So you can still try it. You can still actually install something and actually work with a full version without having to, you know, lose what you're doing. Localizing LibreOffice. See, I thought the installation was done or almost done there. What's up? What's up, Ton? I'm installing Solyd XK. I'm experimenting with a new Linux distribution. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. What's up with you, dude? What's up with you? Let's see. I'll type it in there. What's up? Oops. It helps if I'm actually sitting in there, but there we go. All right, removing VirtualBox. Yeah, probably a good idea because I'm not actually using it on there. Removing VirtualBox. How are we doing? Are we almost? You would think we're nearly at the end of the installation here. Let's go back to full screen and take a look at this thing. I'm just going to close this here because I suspect that we are probably very close. And configuring bootloader, yep, we've got to be awfully close. This is going to be almost there. We're going to reboot this thing and then make sure that it actually works and call it a successful install. Cleaning app. This looks promising. We're almost there. I'm going to close this guy here. There we go. Out of the box, Firefox, Thunderbird, LibreOffice are pre-installed. Yes, we've noticed that. Ready to play your music, internet videos, and more. That's because it's using VLC to play the videos. Removing live configuration packages. Almost there. Almost there. Standard open document format. Yes. We've got all that. Let's go back to the full screen for a second there. I'm going to close the other virtual machine manager. What kind of an impact is that having on the system? Not too bad. We've still got lots of memory left over. My CPUs are working awfully hard, though. Take a look at that. 4 CPUs, and we've got 100%, 91%, 96%, 99%. This is making them work hard. This is making them work really hard. Almost there. An alternative option, removing live configuration packages. All right, let's see how we do. All right, let's go back into our menu here and see what other options. Add to favorites. Add what to favorite? This particular one? Let's go back and take a look in here. Add to favorites, properties. I wonder if that means it shows up. Oh, there we go. I think we've done it. Let's go. Let's go back into the full screen mode. Yes, yes, we do want to restart the new computer system, so let's do it right now, okay? Press and release, Control Alt. Here we go. Oh, there you go. We've got a nice little icon there. Is it going to start automatically? It should start automatically. Is it starting automatically? Is it starting automatically, or do I have to do something? There it is. Loading initial RAM disk. Let's go full screen again, and let's see whether we have a successful installation. 1600 by 900. Yes, that's my screen size here. Here we go. So GNOME Boxes has actually expanded this to fill the screen. So I'm looking at it full screen, but I'm still looking at the standard 4:3 size screen there. It's very interesting. Yes, that's me and my super secret password, SECRET. It looks like we have a successful installation. Solyd XK. Solyd XK running on XFCE. And there you go. There it is. It works. It works. It's glorious. It's beautiful. What do we got here? Is that our welcome screen? Let's take a look at our welcome screen. Yes, that is the welcome screen. It tells us about the software, how this all works. So there we go. Everything that you need to know about running Solyd XK. Next. Be aware Flash is not open source, multimedia codecs, CSS. It's basically telling us everything that we need to know about. Oh, GNU Cache is installed as a business application. Interesting. Or maybe it's just recommending that you try that. Recommended applications. So it's actually not installed, and we can click the install button to install that there. Install my password, SECRET is my password, and there we go. Now we're installing our GNU Cache software. So there we go. I think this is actually pretty cool. It worked well. It was a nice smooth installation. So I'm looking forward to spending a little bit more time with it. But this is where I am going to leave it for today. If you joined me live, I'm very happy to have had you here. If you are watching this later as a recorded video on YouTube, I'm glad to have you aboard as well. Please remember to share this with other people. Leave me comments. Tell me what else you'd like me to try. If there's another distribution, if there's something else that you think that is not getting enough eyeballs and you'd like somebody else to take a look at it, or you'd like somebody else to share it, please let me know that as well. Leave some comments down there. Give me some thumbs up and share with everybody that you know, and subscribe. Recommend it to your friends, your enemies, your neighbors, your dog, your cat, your fish, your hamsters, all that stuff. And I'm going to minimize my window here. I'm going to not minimize, but shrink it back down. Go back into OBS Studio, and this is where I am going to leave it for today. So I'll just cut to my webcam transition there one more time, and I'm going to wave to everybody, and I'm going to wave, and I'm going to say this is where I leave it. Thanks for joining me, and goodbye. Marcel, out.